Welcome everyone to a little special four-post Massacre podcast review. We've never done this before. This is our first time doing something, mainly because this week for pro wrestling is so big that we're not going to be able to get everything we want on this show. We usually have like 4 segments, and so we had to cut some stuff. So we're going to just be bringing our special review for you for this Dark Side of the Ring, because a lot of people we didn't get to talk about the FMW episode because we took a break because I was moving and Adam was really upset about that. So he was really adamant that we talk about XPW. Now with Bound for Glory and Crown Jewel and Dynamite and Rampage happening, obviously we weren't going to have time for it on the show. So we made some time in our free time to record the special review, and we brought a little special someone with us. Please welcome to the desk, Mr. Jay Krack.
Hi, I'm Jay Krack. Wait, here are 5 reasons why I should have sex with Tanahashi. 1, I'm very desperate. 2, he's very handsome. 3, he has money. 4, with that money, I could buy belts. 5, I'm very lonely.
This all sounds like a pitch on why I should be dating Sonata right now. But Jay is a very adamant watcher of wrestling. I know he's a big fan of pure wrestling. He's a big fan of extreme wrestling as well. He is also a professional shit poster if you check out his stuff on Twitter. We also have one Jamal Bedlam, who is in the Discord call with us right now. He has said he will be chiming in here and there if he wants to speak up on some of the stuff we're talking about tonight. Jamal, you there?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm here.
All right.
Oh, there's so much cluckery. And I can't wait for the podcast because, oh, God, I get the Saudi Arabia show. Yay.
So, Adam, before we go into tonight's review, please explain to the people what XPW was.
I was gonna say, I didn't even get introduced.
I did introduce you.
I didn't even say hi to the nice people.
This is not a podcast episode.
Still want to say hi to the people.
All right, then go.
Hi, people. So yeah, XPW. What essentially was a fuck you to Paul Heyman and in ECW, because Rob Black, piece of shit, and has one of the biggest egos around just himself in general. A company funded solely off of pornography and desperate wrestling fans looking for that hardcore niche because ECW died, and we got. Goddamn, did we get something special in a bad way, but also in a good way.
It's also a glorified backyard federation. Let's be fucking honest here. And it's coming from someone who loves deathmatch wrestling. But first off, let me say this. All right, I know a lot about XPW. I'm not an expert, but I do know a good chunk stuff that they did bring up at all in the episode. There are a lot of talented guys in XPW. I will say that right now. But there are times where you're watching a match and it seems so backyardy, it's really embarrassing.
All right, so we go into this episode. Immediately, we're showing footage. We go to a camera shot of Rob Black, where he's explaining to us how big and smooth and sweaty his balls are. So you get a very good introduction to.
Immediately knew we were in for something very, very special here, because I was like, "Yep, that's Rob Black. This is going to be great."
So apparently he didn't sign off on coming on to this episode.
And why would he? Why would he?
Because Rob Black is, oh my fucking god. Let me explain Rob Black. He's really all talk. He really is. Yeah, he did what he did. We will get to that. Don't worry. We will get to that.
Yeah, but, don't mention that in the episode. Surprisingly,
you know, he really is all talk. Like, he's the type to where if you actually confront him, he will bullshit you. And he's done that so many times to like people. And there are stories of Rob Black just bullshitting people all the time.
So yeah, they pretty much, before they really introduce anybody, the guys asking the questions like, "Can you guys explain who Rob Black is?" And they all just kind of look around and start laughing awkwardly. And as we go on, you will see exactly why.
Why?
They pretty much explain that he was a porn producer. You know,
he was also a director.
Very extreme adult pornographies as well. Just like,
I've seen some of the other products. It's not for everyone. It's definitely not for me. Yes, let's say it was extreme. Let's just say that it was extreme, but it's
extreme, all right.
They go on to, like, usually they say like, oh yeah, he was doing this stuff, you know, before it became like the norm and like where we are today, which is kind of true, because if you type in, if you just go on Pornhub, you can usually find like half the shit that he does in his productions just on the internet now by different people. So he's like really one of the originators of just like extreme, like hardcore pornography.
Let's not give him that credit, please. Let's not.
I'm not giving him any.
We're not gonna give him any fucking
I'm just
credit.
saying where it started and where we are now. It's like he was kind of there. You have to.
Okay, cool. Yeah, he was there.
Okay, but the main point I was getting to this was that he loved two things, and that was pornography, and that was extreme pro wrestling.
I love porn. I love hardcore porn. I love hardcore wrestling.
You know what? So do I. And guess what? I'm far better at even being the fucking Rob Black is. I refuse to give that man I will give him one thing. That's for later, though. But yeah, no, we're not giving him credit. He's not a pioneer for porn. Not at all. I refuse to give him that.
So Rob's story starts off as anyone's would start off. He made a deal with Paul Heyman, and they wanted to bring ECW to the West Coast. Until ECW got a TV deal, and Paul told Rob to fuck off. And so
Paul said, "Okay, cool. I have like TV now, so bye." And Rob said, "Well, fuck that guy.
I'm
fucking ECW.
I'm going to make it my lifelong mission to destroy Paul E. dangerously, like any other fucking insane human being." That was his goal. Basically, just to stick it to Heyman. And so XPW just was made, and they were very much. They described it as ECW, but on steroids. Is basically what it was. Like, because it was filled with not just pro wrestlers, but it was actually run by like there's porn stars as well. So you got like a little bit of what Black was working with from both sides. Some of the big,
and neither were very good.
Some of the names, some of the big names that they brought up was William Welch was the Messiah in XPW. Luke Hawx, who was Altar Boy Luke, and Chaos.
Chaos.
Yes,
Joey Chaos. One of the best trainers in wrestling today.
Yeah, the owner of the Santino Brothers Wrestling Academy.
He's the owner of it?
One of the owners, yeah. Of course, for all of my WSX fans out there, of course, you know, Jesus and Chaos, you know, they did it for the Cervezas and the Mamacitas.
Chaos.
WSX ruled.
Chaos pretty much says that he would never gotten into pro wrestling if it wasn't for his
uncle. Now, I want to give this one over to Jay, because this is one of the other big reasons I brought him on, because Jay is an avid Supreme fan.
I love Supreme with all my heart. He's one of the XPW guys where I felt like deserved way more after XPW folded. And I want to bring this up now because they didn't bring it up at all. A lot of guys in XPW were so fucking talented, and I mean it, including Supreme. But because they had XPW on their resume, basically, they didn't really get a fair shot anywhere else in wrestling. I mean, on the West Coast, yes, but like when it comes to like the major promotions, mostly on the East Coast, they didn't really get a fair deal whatsoever. And Supreme was one of those guys. Yeah, he had a few spots in CZW, IWM itself, and GCW, but like when it comes to deathmatch wrestling, he's one of the guys. It wasn't until he died where people start, praising him, which is the saddest thing because Supreme was so good as a deathmatch wrestler, so good, and he had so much love for deathmatch wrestling. And if you see the end of the episode where Joey Cut is talking about Supreme and he's crying, he was so well loved. Like Lester was so fucking well loved. He was so good as a deathmatch wrestler, and it's sad that he didn't get his due. It wasn't until after he died where he got it, and that's just sad.
Yeah, Chaos actually brings that up near the end of the episode. Also, they mentioned one David Marquez, who is a former XPW producer and director. He pretty much says he's like an Emmy Award-winning news
journalist.
Yeah, news journalist. And
he's editing porn.
And now he's being brought in to edit porn.
He didn't mind. He didn't mind. He was okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, cool.
To some of you out there who are maybe listening, Dave Marquez recently had a stint in the rebranded NWA, so maybe he might look familiar. He was their interview guy until he was fired because he defended Jim Cornette on the Trevor Murdoch situation.
Of course.
He was one of the major talking heads of this, and then there were a few others. What the hell was her name?
Jessica Darling.
Jessica Darling. And Sylvia, she was the merch lady.
Or the extreme bitch.
Bitch.
It's like, that's not very nice.
She seemed very happy about it when she said it. I mean, she was very proud of the name. Again, at the end of this, I know we're going to jump around here a lot, and that's what we do with these dark sides. But, like, at the end, when they ask everybody, they're all, like, even with Rob Black being the biggest piece of shit he is, and the stuff that all of them go through that we'll talk about here, they all make it very clear they'd do it again. And honestly, like, if I'm looking from an outsider perspective, if I'm, like, one of the wrestlers or, like, one of the crew members, you know what? I probably would. Early 2000s, that shit was probably bumping. But, like, you think about everything that goes on, behind the scenes. Okay, maybe not, but I bet it was a fun ass time.
No, like you said, like they talked about how, like, yeah, Rob's a piece of shit, but like they made so many good friends, in the back. They all became They all became a family, and that's probably the good thing. And like, if you really think about it, if it wasn't for XPW, we would have had Joey Chaos, and we would have had Santino Bros. And Santino Bros have fucking helped train so many talented wrestlers right now in the indies today. So many talent. So yeah, so that's one good thing against XPW. Without XPW, there's no Joey Chaos, no Santino Bros, and no like Eli Everfly, Dahlia Doom, and so forth and so forth.
All right. Wait, what were we talking about? I had to step out for a second.
We were saying good things about XPW. And also, okay, we're going to pause right now. I'm going to bring up one talent from XPW who I wish was on the show. And his gimmick in XPW was, let's just say it probably wouldn't work out today. There was a wrestler named Angel the Homo.
Oh, goodness.
and he had a very stereotypical gay gimmick. Now I don't know the person personally. I assume that the person portraying Angel is a good person and is also a very talented wrestler, and also at one point a trainer for Santino Bros. So he knows his shit. But that's one of the many gimmicks that XPW did. Angel the Homo. It was a very generic gay gimmick, and oh man. Again, I don't want to trash the guy because I'm pretty sure like that was probably one of Rob's fucking ideas. Who knows? But yeah, it shows how XPW, how creative they are in wrestling.
Absolutely. I mean, this isn't obviously in the the rhetorical sense of it and all that, but like if you pay attention to like a lot of the characters and stuff, like their gimmicks were just your this occupation. It was like like darker new generation gimmicks. It was like you're a dark altar boy, you're a homo, you're Jesus. Like it's like
you're homeless.
You're homeless. Yeah, homeless Jimmy. Fucking but like you're an evil murderous kid clown. Because I mean that's what fucking Pogo was.
Hold up. There's a current WWE superstar that was an XPW. Do you know who it was? Ron Killings.
I can see that, yeah.
Ron Killings had a short stint in XPW. I didn't see any of his matches, but he had a short stint in XPW.
Oh, look at our truth. But so there you go. There's your talking heads. We have a bunch of people on this episode. Oh, we forgot two other names. Sabu shows up for a quick appearance. He's not there very long. And then everybody's favorite, and sadly, what's probably going to be the last footage of modern day New Jack.
Yeah, New Jack was there. Just to go down.
And New Jack was one of my favorite parts of this whole episode.
He was very funny in this. I'll give it that.
He starts talking about getting all the porn. God damn it.
Oh yeah, because Rob couldn't pay him, so Rob goes, "Here's a bunch of porn."
He said he had over 1,000 different tapes.
So
Rob Black, everybody should know, Rob Black is not bold enough to mess with New Jack by any stretch of the imagination, because
I love that. The whole like they would make fun of, they mentioned it early on, but they didn't like go back to it as it got further in. But they mentioned, Rob making fun of Paul Heyman not being able to pay all the wrestlers, and then oh Lord fucking behold, you turned out just like Paul Heyman, but way more of a shitty human being.
They bring up how like there was a rivalry, quote unquote rivalry between like Rob Black and Paul Heyman. But for any indie fan out there, especially back then, like another rivalry that I wish they brought up was between XPW and CZW.
The last fucking hurrah XPW tried of being relevant.
Oh yeah, so if you don't mind, I would like to go on a little tangent right now real quick. So when Shane Dipshit Douglas joined XPW, he had the bright idea of taking this West Coast promotion and moving to the East Coast, where basically a bunch of indie feds were running in the East Coast. ROH, CZW, all that stuff, right? So Shane Dipshit Douglas, who should know better because he's a manager, goes, Rob, let's move it to fucking Philly. And Rob goes, okay, let's do it. And so they went there, right? And like automatically, like CCW fans and XPW fans just started beefing because, well, Robbie is invading their territory. So there was a bit of a rivalry there, and like there were times where like one guy from XPW would switch sides to CZW, like Messiah, or how just as Pain, a CZW guy would jump ship to XPW, and it was this big rivalry. But in the end, the better company won. Well,
the lesser of two evils.
The lesser of two evils won. It was back when people loved John Zandig. Not so much today. Not so much today.
Oh man, we could do a whole just episode on just CZW.
You better fight for that. Like I'm ready for that. But yeah, I think if I'm not mistaken, XPW was part of the Philly Wars. I could be wrong about that. Because I know the Philly Wars was, I think, CZW, ROH, I forgot what else. I think it was XPW. I don't remember. But yeah, that's just a little tangent, I know, but, XPW.
All right, Sahaya.
So, so some of the talking heads, they just, when they first introduced, they say what kind of the crazy stuff that they experienced down in XPW, like, the Messiah, when he first came in, he took an unprotected chair shot, and apparently Black really appreciated that he didn't put his hands up for it. And so after the match, Rob just goes pretty much, like, "What's up, Jesus?" It is like, he explained, like, he wanted to call Welch either Jesus or the Messiah.
No, it was the Savior.
Was it the Savior? He said it was.
No, he said it was the Messiah or the Savior, because he said both of those were shit, but they were better than Jesus.
Better than Jesus, so he just went with the Messiah.
And I want to say this about Messiah: he is one of the best fucking deathmatch guys like ever. Fucking his run in CZW is amazing. His run in XPW. Like, I wasn't talking about his run at XPW was also amazing. It was controversial because the gimmick was very, very sacrilegious. But no, like, Messiah is such a fucking phenomenal talent. One of the few hybrid wrestlers back then, that could do both pure and deathmatch wrestling.
They also bring in, I already mentioned, they bring in Altar Boy Luke, says that, they did some really stupid stuff. One thing that he did was a 450 off of a balcony through a table with tacks on it, and apparently the tacks, I don't know,
they broke into his hands, and so they had to use pliers to get the tacks out of his hands. Chaos also brings up the thing, the flaming table incident with my God, Supreme. This is such an I'm gonna ask you this because, like, you're into the wrestling Twitter and all that jazz. How is it possible, or maybe you have, but like, you've seen this before, right?
I have seen most of the stuff on Twitter. Yeah, I mean, not on Twitter, but early, like, YouTube videos of it.
But, like, you've seen this before.
Yes.
Because, like, this is one of the earliest, like, for me, like, big deathmatch, like, spots that I saw. Because she was literally on fire.
Yep.
Alright, so here's actually a good thing that Rob Black did for Supreme. Alright, so after Supreme had his little fucking fire incident, he couldn't, like, legit work for, like, I don't know how long, months. And, like, he couldn't even work his real job because he was so, like, burnt up. So Rob Black, whether he did this just to keep Supreme or whatever, but Rob Black was, quote-unquote, kind enough to actually pay him his wages. Like, he legit paid him, like, the amount of money he would make at his real job for, like, months. So that's one good thing I would say about Rob Black right there. That he actually took care of Supreme. Whether he felt guilty because it was his fault, it's his promotion, it is his fault, or whatever. But he was good enough to pay for Supreme, to make sure he made a living, all that stuff.
I think the best part of that whole situation, where Chaos was telling the story about the flaming table spot, is that after the flaming table spot, he goes apparently talks to Supreme, and Supreme is all like, "It was a damn good match too. The last spot fucked it all up." So he was more concerned about the match than his burning flesh. So
took away the fact of them being like, oh yeah, like Supreme's flesh was just like kind of like on Chaos all of a sudden now, and I'm like, oh, that's fucked.
That's cool.
That's that. Yeah, my uncle's flesh is now on me. That's
2 episodes in a row. Not in a row. Sorry, two episodes where this season someone's uncle's flesh is on someone else.
What the fuck? Yeah, right. Like, what is like his first with Sabu, and now this shit, and now by the way, third incident this portion of the season with somebody being on fire because they bring up that lady in the FMW episode that got lit on fire and her fucking face melted and her gear melted into her fucking skin. Like, what the fuck? We need to stop. Okay, I get it. Fire, cool. I love a fire, but like, be fucking careful. Oh, yeah. Oh shit, we don't have lighter fluid. I guess we'll use charcoal?
I remember back in ECW, like, they did something with fire with Terry Funk, and, like, Terry Funk got burnt up really, really bad. Like a bunch of fans legit jumped through a rail to help put out the fire. It was so, like, maybe fire in wrestling isn't a good idea.
No. So that's just a few of the fun opening moments.
So this all leads to like the guy saying like, Rob, while he was like exuberant, he was also very like he could get people on his side very easily. He rallied the boys up, as to say, and so he was all like, "Yeah, we're gonna go do this thing. We're gonna do this," and everybody like, "Yeah, Rob. Yeah, I fucking die for this shit. I fucking die for this company."
How very Paul Heyman of him. How very Paul Heyman of him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna destroy you by becoming you.
Fucking die for you, man. I swear to God. And so this all led to ECW Heatwave 2000. And apparently during one of the matches, the XPW, some of the XPW guys were in the front crowd. And
on the hard cam, yeah.
Yeah, on the hard cam. They were just throwing up the X's up during a match. And so security had to get involved and throw them out. Meanwhile, there's a whole other different situation, apparently. This is where New Jack comes in, by the way.
Yeah, Chaos says that, like, oh, yeah, they took us out, and then all of a sudden shit was, like, really quiet. And they're like, where the fuck's everybody else? Yeah. Oh, they're just, like, on the other side beating the shit out of the security.
New Jack brings
up that one guy. He had a broken leg.
So he just basically takes the crutch and beats someone's face.
One guy, he says the one security guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, New Jack, come on, dude, let's just like chill out, right?" And he's like, "Nah, fuck that."
Actually, I feel like they didn't bring up a lot of stuff when it comes to that incident.
Yeah, they left a lot of the ECW. Like, I felt like there was way more ECW they could have got into, at least for a little bit more.
If I recall back in the forums, the story was the XPW guys were causing a scene. And I think, like, one of them, I don't know who, did something to Francine where it pissed off, like, the entire locker room. And if you seen that footage of Heatwave, like, the locker room comes the fuck out, and Big Boy Sal is the first one there. And, like, Big Boy Sal's a big man, okay? And he's a big boy, and you see this massive fucking bull is charging because he's pissed off. And the XPW guys are trying to escape odd stuff, and there's a big brawl outside, and Rob Black is nowhere to be found.
Yep, they make that very clear. Messiah's all like, "Where the fuck's Rob?"
Where's our leader? This was his idea.
Where's the guy who's like, taking us into the charge? The guy who was like, "Yeah, let's fucking do this, yeah." Where the fuck's Rob? Yeah, good job, boss. You left us out there to die. Except for New Jack, because it's New Jack. He's just there for the fun. Oh, I get to beat up people? Cool.
Sweet.
Sweet. I don't give a fuck about anybody else.
So
I get to beat up people. I get money. I get porn. I'm good.
so far, as we said, so far, Rob Black has not paid his guys,
Nope.
left them to die from like an entire company, has like put their health on the line, and that's not even the worst thing he's done. We're gonna get to that. Don't worry.
Oh, well.
There's so much more. That's this episode, and like we're going off track. This whole episode, if you've seen all of these episodes, is the most non-linear of every episode they have ever done. It's just like, here's just a story. There's a story. It's a story. Oh, Rob, story. Rob, story.
It was basically a shoot. It was basically a shoot interview compilation, basically.
Yeah, it was like a well done shoot with like reenactments. But
I'm waiting. I'm waiting till y'all get to the really juicy stuff, because that's the stuff I know very well about Rob Black. All the fuck shit.
It's just so we haven't even gotten out of wrestling yet.
No, we haven't.
So
That's bad.
What's next?
So we continue to go through it. We move forward to 2001. Obviously, ECW goes under. WWE buys what's left. At this
Rob
point,
says, "Oh, everybody else."
yeah, I'll start hiring guys. How much money? He just brings out the checkbook, and he brings in guys like Douglas, Sabu. He brings in Terry Funk at one point. And Sabu pretty much goes on to say, like, yeah, they invited me. I didn't know it was a porn company.
The porn company.
I didn't know it was half of a porn company. So that was
and they invited dipshit Shane Douglas.
Yeah, we talked about that already.
They asked New Jack if he's like, did you ever care about if people found out that you're working for XPW? He's like, fuck no. I don't give a fuck. I wanted to get paid. They paid me money and they gave me porn.
Porn.
I won't worry about all that.
New Jack was in his own. This was like a second sequel to his episode. This was because nothing. Every time they cut to New Jack, it barely had anything to do with
Rob or XPW. It's just like, nah.
It's what New Jack did.
Hey, so we have New Jack here. We're just gonna use more New Jack. Okay, cool.
All right, great.
All right, Jack. Talk about Vic Grimes again, buddy.
He'll talk about Vic Grimes until the end of his life, until the end of days.
That is the one thing he's proud of. It's the fact that he almost killed Vic Grimes.
He says it right at the end. His last little line is that XPW will never be remembered. They're never going to be a visionary. They're never going to be great. Based on Vic Grimes. Yeah, that'll last forever.
He literally ends off as like, I almost killed Vic Grimes and then I left. I did what I came to do. I got paid and then I was gone.
So in the New Jack episode, they explain the reason for us getting to the scaffold match. This is the event itself now of the scaffold, and pretty much everybody else's reaction that wasn't New Jack, because we got that already. We know what he's up there, he got the taser, he wants to kill Vic Grimes, obviously.
Well, we will get to that in a minute, but just to go forward here, Luke, Altar Boy Luke, pretty much went on to tell about the story of when he took a protected fish.
Was fucked up.
And Rob apparently didn't like that very much. Rob pretty much cussed him out. Say, what the fuck are you doing? We don't put our fucking hands up. This is XPW. We don't fucking do that shit. And then Jerry Lynn had to come there. I was like, hey, man, fuck that guy. He doesn't even know what he's fucking talking about.
I don't even know why I'm here.
Actually, believe it or not, that at one point was a thing in wrestling. Like in ECW, if you put your hands up, you like the entire locker would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Are you a pussy? And I'm glad now we don't do that no more.
So apparently, Luke didn't really think much of it until the next night, because apparently Rob had a bit of payback in mind, and so.
Oh my god, this fucking shit is messed up.
ran an angle the next night where Luke gets cuffed like he's being crucified. So he's got his arms spread out.
And this isn't like but this is more fucked up than crucified, because he's not like on a cross or anything. His body is just dangling like he's a puppet or in like a saw trap.
Yeah, and
like they're hanging him spread like arms wide open, and then he's like, yeah, all right, cool. So I think he said that he was gonna get he didn't know that the chair shots were coming. And Rob told Supreme to lay them the fuck in, and he does.
Yeah, he gives him.
He does.
Fucking.
I just want to say, like, please don't give Supreme any heat. He was basically doing what Rob told him to do. You know, it was just basically an order. Yeah, you know, it shouldn't have happened, but you know, it's not Supreme's fault. I really want to clarify that. We shouldn't blame Supreme for this whatsoever.
Oh, no, I'm not blaming Supreme for any of this.
I bet in Supreme's mind, I mean, I highly doubt Rob. I mean, from what we know about everything Rob does,
Something tells me he didn't tell Supreme the whole story.
No, he's an avid liar. There's no way he told Supreme, hey, make sure you lay them in on purpose because that pussy didn't put his hand up. He was probably like, oh yeah, a cool spot tonight. You're gonna bash him over the head. Does the kid know? Yeah. Kid knows.
And so he does, and
he murders him.
Yeah, Luke talks about how 1 shot became 2 shots, and then 3 shots
became 3 shots.
It became 4. He just really starts loading them in. He then tells that he didn't go to the doctor because he didn't have insurance, but he's pretty sure that he had a cracked skull. Like, you could see the indentation, like, on his head still.
Yeah, he points it out. He still has it, like, in his head. They make it so that they bring him back. They're like, you can't fall asleep, dude. You got a concussion. Because, like, if he falls asleep, he's probably dead.
Yeah.
Which is like, holy fuck. Like, how is... Like, at this point, you're still thinking to yourself, like, how is everybody working?
Like, Luke went through a lot of shit. And he's done interviews talking about XPW. Like, back to the whole thumbtack thing, that was the same day his son was born. So, like, the same day, all that thumbtack was in his arm and it fucked it all up, he couldn't even hold his son on the first day he was born.
That's
like,
fucked.
The amount of shit that Rob Black put Luke through, it's just awful.
So, now we get to Lizzie.
Lizzie Borden.
Lizzie Borden.
Not the mommy and daddy killer, not her. No, the
porn star.
The entrepreneur. You know, the lesser two evils, maybe. I don't know.
Like, I don't fucking like. There's no
the body to Rob Black's Clyde. Lizzie Borden, one of Rob's favorite of his actresses.
So they pretty much go on to say that they were dating behind the scenes, like, and apparently Rob liked it when Lizzie went to go flirt with the other dudes, but is like, you couldn't really touch her. And like, you can look, but you can't. It's that sort of situation.
So like Chris Candido and Tammy.
God, no.
Okay, well, the difference
Jay!
between...
Why the bat is in the ground?
The difference between that one is that Candido had no idea.
Hey, OJ, I'm gonna need you to no, don't do that to.
Hey, okay, fine, okay. So Jody Nitro and Melina.
Okay, all right. So Rob, behind the scenes, like, he liked getting blowjobs from the other actresses or whatever, or from other women in general, and basically tell, oh, it's fine, we're just doing a movie and whatever.
What a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Again, like, this isn't even the worst thing he's done. It's like, each moment, each story is like, my God, it keeps piling up. It keeps getting worse and worse every time this man's name is brought up.
I swear, I'm not cheating, hon. It's just a scene.
This is a movie. Just act it. Don't get worked into a shoot, brother.
I want to add, even in porn, that's still not okay.
No,
like not all. It's like if that got out in porn today, that Rob Black would not have. Well, he doesn't have a career now, but Rob Black would not have a career whatsoever. It's like the thing about the porn industry. They are very nowadays. They are very protective of the women. So that's one good thing I'll say. But like if a director did that, forget it. My God, like lawsuits up the ass, man.
So this obviously leads to Lizzie getting jealous, and so Lizzie starts messing around with Messiah, who was the top dude, I believe, at the time.
Yeah, their top guy.
He was the top guy. Yes,
he was the top guy, and so they started messing around. And
my favorite story. Favorite story.
Rob apparently gets word that it happened. Apparently, Rob didn't. A thing with Rob is that he didn't really care if it happened, like during a film or on porn or because it's like whatever. But behind his act is like, oh, that's gonna be an issue. They pretty much said that Rob wanted to kill him, and so this all leads.
Yeah, he does, and this leads to my favorite story. I've been hyping for 2 weeks,
and so this all leads to eventually. Messiah, he basically no-shows the show after the rumors that he and Lizzie's affair starts to go around.
Go ahead, sorry. I'm just very excited. I love the fact that he makes it a point to include that he went home, he got a GameCube. He's like, I got a GameCube. I want to go home. It's a video.
Can you imagine you're Messiah and you're like, oh my God, I just got a GameCube. Mario Sunshine, baby, let's go. He's just playing Mario Sunshine, spilling all the black gunk out of nowhere, and then
one of my favorite things.
That's like being like if like Nick Gage was like, "Yo, dude, Sora's in Smash."
One of my favorite things about this whole thing is like after the rumors get spread and he no shows, they're going back and forth with all the talking heads. And they're like, oh, Messiah, how could you do this? Why would you screw these things up with him? And then fucking Darlin comes over and she's like, well, I slept with him too. So it's like...
Yeah.
Hold on. I will say this. I want to say this right now, all right? Messiah is a very fucking handsome man, okay?
Oh, yeah, absolutely!
That man is... If I've been a fan of Messiah since God knows how long, and back in the day, Messiah was a handsome-ass son of a bitch. Do you know how handsome he was? This one match. It's his entrance. He's walking out, right? And this one chick slips like money in his pants. He just looks at her and goes, oh, okay, and walks to the ring. So I don't blame him. If I was Lizzie or, yeah, I'll fuck Messiah too.
Alright, so...
Jessica just, like, blatantly, like, not just says herself, but she's like, yeah, everybody, everybody got her out. I'm like, yeah. Oh, okay, cool.
Sweet, great.
Everybody on fucking blast.
That doesn't surprise me whatsoever. But this leads to the best part of this, one of the best parts of this whole story. So apparently Lizzie and Rob, they're pretty much they're set. But Messiah's gone. He's out of there. Like he's just done. Rob's done with him. And so, but he's the top guy. He was like one of the main faces of XPW, and now he's gone. So obviously you got to write him out.
My God, the way they write him out.
Get him out of there. So what the fuck happens? They do like this weird CGI of this dude.
Jesus.
With just all blinding light, and Rob's like, no, Messiah, what are you doing? Where are you going? This company, we need you. And he's like, I must go. Heaven needs me.
Well, basically, he was Poochie.
Yeah.
He was Poochie.
I must go. My planet needs me.
My father needs me.
Needs me. I'm like, oh my god. The best part is they leave in like the unedited version, and after he's dead, he just like, what am I doing? What the fuck are you doing?
How the fuck is this shit real? After that, apparently, the Messiah and Rob eventually talked, and Rob said, "You got 3 days to get out of here, or you're fucking dead."
He's like, you go from Michigan, you leave LA, you get the fuck out of here. And Messiah's like,
no,
no,
I'm not kidding. You suck my dick.
I'm not doing any of that.
You believe it? You're Rob Black. I'm not afraid of you.
You know who I am?
So now we take a pause for that story. We'll come back to that later.
So I want to talk about it.
Well, now we got the New Jack Vic Grimes scaffold match.
We get a little bit of a follow up to what we got,
because they really went into like a generalization of what happened in the match with the New Jack episode. Like, New Jack had a beef with Grimes. He tased him. He threw him off. That's basically what you got. Here you get like more of what was supposed to happen and what happened afterwards. So they set up, now that Messiah's gone, Rob's pretty much he's got to start bringing out the big guns. So what does he do? He starts he introduces a scaffold match, and it's going to be between.
Sahaya, explain to our fans how they get away with doing said scaffold match.
Before you do, I wanna suggest that no one ever fucking do this about what's about to be said, because the legality of everything that's going on in this story is like, my god, it's like this is evidence for like someone.
So they basically show the drawings, the blueprints of what this thing is supposed to be, and everyone's all like, "There's no way he's gonna get away with this." Like, this shit looks crazy. So what does Rob do in all of his wisdom? He bypasses the insurance and just makes up waivers on computers and just types over what he needs, so that
it wasn't him. It was the live event coordinator.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We didn't mention him. I think it's Mike. Mike?
Was it Mike?
I think his name was his name Mike.
There wasn't any insurance for this event.
No, he printed out.
They talk about how the scaffolding was swaying. It was swaying while they were on top of the thing.
They were trying to bypass it by saying that it was for media to take pictures. God forbid. And so I believe he printed out fake documents, and then was like whiteouting and like rewriting and like just forging insurance documents. And
which I want to add is very illegal.
How the fuck did they get him? How? My God, how? And he just admits it, and he's like, "Yeah," and like, I'm like, "What? How this stupid ass fucking insurance company do you?"
So apparently,
they get away with it.
So apparently, also one of the things that Rob did was that to decide who goes off the thing. Apparently, from New Jack, he said, "Flip a coin." But New Jack's like, "All right, yeah, you can flip whatever fucking coin you want. I already know how this is fucking going."
I'm not going off it. I'm a wizard.
So
you could flip that coin 18 times in a fucking row, and I could lose every time, no matter what. Big Grimes is dying tonight.
So we get up. They're finally they're going up the scaffold, and the crowd is like, they're going ooh and ah because they're doing doing it back and forth, and then immediately they start gasping because guess what? New Jack brought up a fucking taser. A stun gun up on the scaffold, tases Vic Grimes, and then just, like he said in his episode, bombs away. Down goes Grimes, and Grimes hits a few tables, lands, his legs hit the ropes, he bat flips into the ring, which was, people to this day say that's a fucking miracle, which it was, because
this went everywhere. I remember on LimeWire, it was named as Owen Hart's video.
Yeah! Everyone had that time. Well, Owen Hart died televised right here.
And I'm like, whoever did it is not going to heaven.
Dude, that got re-uploaded to YouTube so many fucking times.
I remember that. I remember being like, oh, I want to find it. I'm like, oh, Owen Hart's dead. Oh, I want to see that. And I just remember seeing this being like,
there's a reason why. There's a reason why Owen Hart's death should not be seen by anybody, and that's not his death. But you know, you got to make clickbait.
You watch it, right? With the Rick Grimes fall, that's already like fucking traumatizing as it is. So like fucking thank God, like the Owen Hart footage will never be leaked.
We got another special guest chiming in about this whole New Jack generation. Introduced to the table, Jacob Baker.
Hello, everyone. I'm gonna make this short and sweet. I have to agree with Jay about why we will never ever see the footage of Owen Hart's fatal fall, which is respectable in its own right. But the fact that you can find on the internet not just the clip, the whole fucking match between New Jack and Vic Grimes in that scaffold match speaks a lot of how batshit crazy XPW was.
Well, again, if he would have died, I don't think we would be seeing it.
That would have been a different story.
No, knowing Rob Black, he would have had that shit like going around like nothing.
We're still digging at the surface. We're not even remote.
Yeah.
No, we're on the tip of the iceberg.
My last thing about this is that I'm still to this day baffled that all Vic suffered was like a broken like finger or like a toe or something.
It was a complicated ankle, believe it or not. It's the luck of fools and the work of God that Vic Grimes is not in the morgue right now.
So that New Jack, he took all his porn, he threw Vic, and he said, "Okay, bye."
I think he got what he wanted. He's getting out of there.
He said, I got Grimes, mission accomplished, so I left. He's like, and he also said, Rob said, oh, that shit was great. He gave him a bonus. He's like, all right, cool, I'm out of here.
There's a note that I made of that specific thing with New Jack, and since we're doing this, I'm going to bring it up now. New Jack stole one of Rob's $60,000 cameras because he wasn't going to be able to feed his family with porn. So New Jack took the camera and essentially pawned it.
Yeah,
because fuck Rob Black.
Good for him.
Yeah,
fuck Rob Black.
Fuck Rob Black. So after this, New Jack is gone. Visaya's gone.
XPW is in trouble.
Yeah, they're pretty much in trouble. They go to a footage of where it's like after Messiah's like gone, they show him at an indie show, and
Ali, before you continue, okay, I just want to add like Messiah and New Jack leaving wasn't the direct cause, but it was a bunch of other things that caused XPW to fail. For example, like I said, when XPW moved to the East Coast, like their original fans basically left. It's like, hold on, you are like our one thing that we had, in the West Coast, and now you're leaving us. So like their fans just straight up like, okay, fuck you then, we're not gonna buy your shit. And at the same time, it's like, okay, they're in the East Coast, and we'll get these fans, but no one fucking cared because there was already another product that was a lot better, CZW.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, are you gonna watch like a product that you already know with much better talent, or are you gonna watch a show where like the guys that are good are gone?
Yeah,
and like it's an inferior product. Oh yeah, Bluey's so fucking what? Here's CZW. They got great matches, great deathmatch wrestlers, and they got John Cena hanging by a hook.
Basically, CZW was the reborn ECW when ECW folded in 2001, and they were already getting the East Coast crowd long before XPW decided to move cross country, and they kind of fucked themselves basically.
Yeah, they alienated their original fans. They completely alienated them, and like, we're not gonna buy fucking taste anymore. What's the point? Like, you want the live events. Why are we gotta buy fucking taste because you moved to the East Coast? Fuck that.
Oh no, Rob Black fucked himself when he decided to move to the East Coast and fuck his loyal fans in the West Coast, because he was giving them hardcore wrestling in the West Coast when ECW couldn't, and he decided to turn tail and go back to the East, and I was like, go fuck yourself, Rob Black.
And not only that, like, even if like CZW wasn't around, there were other like products out there, deathmatch promotion out there that were still a lot better than XPW. Like Anime itself was a lot better than fucking XPW.
They brought the deathmatch wrestling.
Another show that could be having another company that could have its own.
Also, just another thing. Apparently, Rob Black cut off the Messiah's thumb. So that's also a thing.
Well, we're gonna get to that.
We were building it up. Now we gotta talk about it.
Well,
Jesus, Josh, I get you want to talk. Let's go.
All right, so
we might as well, because we kind of beat around.
Well, so it's like we got to the point where it's like Messiah in his 23-year-old wisdom is now he's starting to fuck with Rob. He goes to an indie show. They start chatting. Yeah, you fucked his wife. And he's like, she loved it. Blah, 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 blah. He's doing stupid
Messiah
shit.
did himself no favors whatsoever. I love Messiah, but he did himself no favors by poking that bear.
He didn't care.
He didn't care.
He didn't start showing up. He at one point showed up to the XPW event. The crowd was apparently so bored that they started throwing around and chanting for a beach ball.
Oh yeah.
And Black was pissed about not only this, but because Messiah was in the building, so the security made him leave. Actually, he had
no.
He had his friend's call.
Friend's call.
Yeah, he got a phone call.
Who was backstage saying, "You gotta get out of there."
Yeah, Rob's pissed, and so he's like, "All right, I'll leave." And so now we get to the part where Messiah's at his house. He's playing on his GameCube because he loves his GameCube.
Probably playing WrestleMania 19.
No, it was Mario Sunshine. Let's face it, was Mario Sunshine.
Damn it.
Or Zelda.
And so, but apparently, he one day got a knock on his door, and these two black guys, they made that specifically. There's two black dudes come over to his house. He didn't really think much of it at first, mainly because he just thought they were with his roommate at the time. So he was like, all right, cool. What's up? You guys can come on in if you want. And then he could start hearing them whisper and like going like, you go jump him. It's like, no, you go jump him. And it's like, before it's like, and as soon as he like turned around, they started ganging up on him. They jump on him. One tried to like choke him out, but didn't really have it in really good. So one of them takes out clippers, and they then proceed to cut Messiah's thumb off. Like legit, just cut it off.
It's so cool.
They tried to go for the other one, but Messiah pretty much was like, he wasn't doing it. He had his hand in a fist. They tried to, beat it open. They tried to pry it open. They were trying to knock him out, so they took like a fish tank apparently that was nearby, and they just smashed it over his head. At this point, fucking Messiah's just like running on adrenaline. He's trying to go to the door. He doesn't even. He's just going to the. He doesn't have a thumb. His thumb's missing. The guys are getting tired. They can't seem to put this guy out. Messiah at one point apparently gets one of them in an armbar and
breaks it.
And breaks it, gets the door open, and the two guys just run out. He tries to find his thumb in the glass and everything, but apparently it just he just passes out, and that's about the end of that. But
and to this day, he has still got 9 fingers left because he still has the stump on his right hand from when they cut off his thumb.
And like no and to continue, like as soon as this got out, like on the forums, automatically, even before like Americans Was Wanted, automatically everyone knew or had a feeling that Rob Black did it. Like let's just say it, okay? Rob Black fucking did it, okay?
Who got the hit?
Like even
did you
before
guys not get the Messiah hit?
Yeah.
We're doing a show, hey.
Well, I've got a show running, but I thought I'd just interrupt to say, yeah, Rob Black did that shit. There's no doubt about it.
He called out the hit.
And he didn't even hire like professionals. He hired like 2 random black guys.
Like he saw 2 guys down the street. Hey, I'll give you $500 if you take out this dude.
Yeah. So like automatically, everyone in the forum just knew it was Rob. Like because like with the rumors of Messiah fucking Lizzie, you know, all this shit, and Messiah basically like jumping ship, you know, people just automatically assume it was Rob, even before it got out.
Because if you remember the CCW promo on Messiah's return night, though.
Yeah.
Rob really fucking called him out, if you remember, in the ring.
Yes, which I want everyone, you know, who's listening to this to watch that promo. It is like one of the most it's one of the best promos in CCW history because it's Messiah being, you know, Billy Welch basically. It's him shooting basically, and he does not give a fuck. He shows everyone his thumb. It's gone. He does not care. You know, he does not give a fuck. And he wants everyone to know that whoever did this, whoever hired those 2 jabronis, to go fuck themselves. And they couldn't get the job done. And it is one of the best promos in CW history. It really is.
So they go on to say like this shit now is going on national television. It's on America's Most Wanted. An indie wrestler was attacked by two guys, and now he's got his thumb cut off. And everybody's like, "Oh my god! Like what in the hell is going on?" And immediately, people started really speculating because they know like Rob obviously was not on good terms with Messiah whatsoever. So you got like a whole bunch of people go asking like, "Did you have something to do with this? This is what's going on?" You got even New Jack went in. You even hear like the voice message you left is like, "Look, man, like, did you do this shit? Like, did you go off and like don't bullshit with me?" This is basically what he said. But he never got charged with anything. Mainly, or at least when it came to this, he didn't get charged with anything because there was no proof that he had anything to do with the attack on Messiah. But Messiah, he came back to wrestling. There's like, I think, yeah, Jay just brought up the promo that he came up missing a thumb. And he said he didn't care because he could still drink beer and play video games, and yeah, that was that.
Right telegram, which really shows the age of this promo of when it was done. A telegram.
He was thinking about the important things in his life at the time. You can't blame him.
But yeah, it's like, to me, that is the biggest fuck you to whoever sent those guys, you know, supposedly Rob Black. That, hey, yeah, guess what? You hired 2 fucking losers who couldn't get the job done, but guess what? I'm back in wrestling, and now I'm bigger than ever on the indies.
So now, after that, Rob's got bigger fish to fry because now he's getting investigated by the authorities, by the U.S. government because of his new porn videos that was being released. Apparently, the new one had scenes where a woman was getting kidnapped and mutilated and all that other types of shit.
Here we go.
So,
Here we go.
And role playing. I don't want to talk about it because it's very illegal. But
yeah, if I'm not mistaken, like at this point, XPW is gone. Right, we're dead.
Yeah, XPW was new enough that they were running. If you remember, I'm gonna go in here in a second. So I'm gonna go and watch me chat from the aftershock, which is currently up. Subscribe, by the way. Yes, I'll do that cheap self plug on your platform, so higher.
Even though pretty much everyone else asked.
XPW was running out of the Philadelphia arena, if you remember, and they drew dead crowds.
We just beat the one over that.
Yeah, I remember seeing.
It was pretty much in the grave. Anyway, I'll leave you guys to it.
Yep. So Rob Black ends up somehow. Not somehow. Surprisingly, back on national television.
Yeah.
Nightline.
He goes on the Nightline. He goes on defend his videos, pretty much saying they're free speech.
Make movies.
Yeah, he literally then goes on.
I'm making a movie
to challenge the U.S. government.
Yo, U.S. government! I challenge you to fight me. I would have proved to you, and I'm like, yes. So, I wonder who wins.
Everyone pretty much points out.
Spoiler alert! It wasn't Rob.
Out of all the dumb things that Rob Black has done throughout his life, this was more than likely the dumbest. Because they pointed out, not only do they have stuff on you, but the government has money, and more importantly, they have time. They can let this thing draw out forever. You can't get away from that.
They will draw it out till you are bled dead with no money, and then boom.
God, did he not have any money? Because they basically
Well, before he makes it clear to the locker room, hey, guess what, guys? I can't pay you anymore. He has to inform all of them. Oh yeah, by the way, also the feds are coming to your house. It's like, I'm sorry, come again? And he's like, it wasn't that, if they come. It was
when. He said, when they come. He was...
Thanks.
So, this whole thing is just a mess. At this point, both Rob and Lizzie, they're facing 50 years prison time with millions in fines over breaking the laws over obscenity. The lawyer fees pretty much shut down any kind of production they had for both their porn company or for XPW. So that meant no shows, nobody's getting paid, checks are bouncing, people are mad. The charges, they do go on to get dropped, but Lizzie and Rob plead guilty
to one of them.
To one of the charges. That puts them
I forget what the charge was, but it doesn't matter. They're in jail for
they put it
obscenity.
Yeah.
They were in jail for
a year.
It was a year and 5 days, I think.
I'm being told it was a year and a day.
Yeah, it was a year and a day.
Although I think Rob went back to jail probably. I could be wrong about that.
We haven't thing that doesn't even get brought up in this episode.
Well, good time for me to bring up
Jamal, there's an aftermath.
So, Josh,
there's so much.
Wait your turn. You will wait your turn. Stop jumping around.
There's an aftermath section of Where is Rob Black Today?
So, after all this, XPW is gone, obviously. So we now go to the talking heads, and they ask them, like, knowing what you know now, would you go through this experience again? And they said yes, absolutely, all of them. Because it was an experience.
But to a lot of them, minus just the experience and the fun and all that, Chaos met his wife, who was Sylvia, who's on the show, and Messiah met his wife through all of this, and he's happy he has his kids.
Yeah, he's got
New Jack got porn.
And, like, back to Chaos. Like, Chaos is now like a trainer of Sedina Rose, and like that's like one of the best schools in the U.S. And I fucking mean that, one of the best schools in the U.S.
That's saying something. Like, he went from working with XPW, finding the love of his life, having the opportunity of a lifetime to work with WWE, do a storyline with John Cena. That was actually him when he was Jesus with Carlito. To now being able to start up to own a wrestling academy that's one of the best in the country. That's what we call a successful story right there.
Wait a minute.
That was a different guy. That was his tag. You're thinking of his tag partner that was with John Cena.
Really?
I was about to say, because if Chaos was Jesus, and I didn't know, I was going to shut this entire episode down, and then we were going to talk about that.
No, but like I said, Chaos and Jesus were a tag team in WSX.
Also, Chaos was a former XPW TV champion. The only TV champion in the company that is.
Oh, well.
Of course. Chaos also then goes on to talk about, of course, his uncle, who we learned passed away May 6th. Was it last year that he passed away? Or
it was, I think so. It was still pretty recent, but yeah.
Yeah. And he goes on to tell, like, how about all the support and love that his uncle got when he did pass away, but it kind of breaks his heart because he wished that Supreme would have gotten that when he was still here, and that he could feel the love from the people. So that was kind of sad. You could see he was very much broken up about it.
But like, as like Jay mentioned earlier, that like stank of XPW just like it buries that sometimes,
Yeah, like I said, like there were like as much as I shared XPW, they had a roster of guys that were talented, like Dynamite D, Chaos, Messiah, Supreme, even Angel the Homo was very talented. GQ Money, right? They had a roster of talented guys, but that stink of XPW, like they didn't really flourish in the indies whatsoever. Like the way we know how to flourish in the indies, it was bad enough that they're on the West Coast and it's already hard enough as it is, but now it's like, oh, you're an XPW? Yeah, no thanks.
Basically, the stench of XPW was so bad that they were unofficially blackballed from the indie scene to flourish, basically. Like,
yeah, but
like you said, there were many great talents in XPW, but they couldn't flourish on the indie scene because of that company.
And Messiah has brought that up like multiple times in shoot interviews. Like, but luckily, like they did manage to flourish somewhat in the West Coast. Supreme managed to flourish quite well in the deathmatch scene in Mexico, from what I understood. And then Chaos now runs a school,
Yeah.
So some good came out of this.
The silver lining was that a lot of, at least on the worker side, everybody seems to be doing good and happy and proud of their time there. This episode really wasn't a like, all of these wrestlers had these terrible experiences. This was very much in the same vein of the Herb Abrams episode we had last season. Of just like
Although early employees like Irv Abrams.
Well, no, I mean in the sense like this was an episode about a whacked out wrestling owner and his wild ass misadventures within wrestling and outside, and in the end he loses, and he still loses, and like that's pretty much the episode. You know, everybody talks about their stuff, and you know, New Jack, like I said, makes it clear like, this episode. Was it him?
No, it was him. No, it was him who said it's like this episode will make XPW famous for like a few months, and nobody's gonna remember, and they're just gonna remember me throwing Grimes off the scaffold because I fucking roll.
That's true. It's basically true.
And then
I think it's Sabu who said that like they'll never be considered a pioneer. They're nothing. It's like this was a shit company,
right?
And it's not because they were a deathmatch company.
No.
When you look at like well-known deathmatch promotions like FNW, CZW, fucking IWA, you know, all of it. They're notorious, but people have fond memories of them. Mm-hmm. XPW, no. So here's my question: what kind of legacy does XPW bring to wrestling? In your opinion?
Well, go ahead.
Sam.
To close this episode out real quick, apparently the legacy of XPW isn't done quite yet, Jay.
Yes, that's true.
Yes,
yeah.
Because we are
aftermath.
We're gonna head into our aftermath segment. We have at least two things we're gonna mention here before we get in. I guess we'll start with it right now. We'll talk about XPW is apparently returning November.
Yep.
I think it's November. And then after we talk about the revival, I know Jamal wants to talk about the other thing that was not mentioned in the episode. That is which is even more disgusting than what was mentioned even on the show. But yeah, XPW is coming back. What? Why?
Supposedly, this isn't the first time he's fucking done this. Like I remember back in I want to say 2011, he did the same shit. Like he did a fucking like photo shoot as him as like fucking whatever saying XPW is coming back, and some bitch ass Mark named Marvin, fucking Mr. California. That's the guy that's who just has his own episode himself. It's like, it's coming back. It's coming back. A year later, nothing ever happens.
Oh, well, this show is scheduled for November 7th in Rochester, New York.
Yep.
Rob Black back at the helm. They have a pretty talented roster of people. Matt Cross, Schlack, Willie Mack, G Raver, Messiah, Brian Cage.
Coming to the what? Why?
Hold on. Did you say Messiah's coming back to XPW?
No. Masada.
Oh, Masada. Okay.
No, hold on. No, Masada, no.
Schlack.
Wrestling will always be carny.
I believe Mance Warner at one point was announced and he backed out.
Smartest thing he's ever done.
Oh, no, not Casey Navarro. Casey, no. But yeah, so XPW Rebirth is slated. It's already got its fight stream up. You can pre-order it right now. It's happening. This episode, from what I've seen so far, has not had the reception that, say the Plane Ride from Hell one had in response to, let's cancel Rob Black. Rob Black has been canceled forever.
For a long time.
This is just more shit for people who don't know who he is very well. But by all means, it does not look like the show is being stopped by any means necessary.
No, if anything, they should just give him more fuel to the fire.
I'm very interested to see if the backlash for this show, not backlash, but like the aftermath from this gets to Mr. Tony Khan, because front and center as the biggest person on the poster is Mr. Brian Cage, who still currently works for AEW. I'm just saying, I don't know if I'm Tony Khan, I want my people to be associated with XPW.
Yeah, I'm just probably going to ask Cage to drop out of that booking in like the next few days. I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm gonna see how many tickets have been sold.
Oh, he doing the fuck he wants. Fuck Brian Cage.
Well, no, I agree with you. Fuck Brian Cage.
I just don't think Khan wants his name to be associated, especially after this.
Oh, trust me. Once we talk about it, once Josh talked about what he's done lately, Mr. fucking Rob Black, I'm pretty sure Brian Cage is gonna, double think his decision.
I mean, well, again, very surprised that this was not brought up on the show. But Jamal, our other guest here, has been chomping at the bit waiting to talk about this. So, Jamal, would you like to bring up the other extremely incriminating situation of Mr. Rob Black that was not brought
Yes, I will.
up on?
Yes, I will. I have a friend of mine named Brandon, and we talk about all sorts of stuff relating to wrestling, and Rob Black was a heavy conversation piece. Some of the other shit he's done, he spent time in jail for a porno that he directed that was based off a serial killer named Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker. Oh wait, it gets even worse. Rob, during a live stream, had friends dressed up as the LAPD and tried to get them sued for police brutality.
What?
Oh wait, but there's more. A quote from my friend directly. Rob Black, murder. If he had halfway competent cronies, yeah, he would have had that. Sexual deviancy and degradation of people, check. Put a head out on a former worker, yep. The man threatened to feed a puppy to a snake during a live stream for attention, yep. Fetishized rape and underage sex, yep. Made his porn stars be payment to some of the wrestlers, and the porn industry to the point where it called him out for being too sleazy. And then recently, he's tried to come off as the good guy to say porn is bad and all this other shit. And now he wants to be a political and social commentator. But after what you just heard, would you really trust Rob Black?
Also insanely transphobic. Very, very transphobic.
Did you talk about the child? Did you talk about the CP?
Oh,
okay.
Yeah,
I already did.
So when I brought up the whole
rape and underage sex.
Whenever the whole role playing thing, I was alluding to that. I didn't want to say it. I did not. Like, oh my god. It'll be a good day when Rob Black fucking dies.
Yes.
And you know what's sad? Like, he'll most likely hear this and talk about it.
Yeah.
We're these like unknown guys, and he's gonna hear about this. He's gonna rant about us probably because it's Rob Black.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm on this janky ass website trying to get tickets to this show, and
come on.
No, I don't want to go. I just wanted to see something, and so far from what I'm deducing here, it doesn't look like a single seat has been sold.
I knew it!
Do you know why? Because the prices it's a little overpriced. My buddy, who was actually a former friend of Rob Black, I'm not going to say his name. Adam, you may already know who I'm talking about, probably.
Is it Tony last name?
Sure, let's go with that. But yeah, he told me like how like a bunch of guys like this was before like it came out like a bunch of guys like dropped out of the show. Like he told me a bunch of guys dropped out. He's not gonna appear on the episode whatsoever, and like the tickets, dude, forget it. They're overpriced.
I would just like to make it clear: front row for this show is $100. $100 front row for the XPW show. You know how much a GCW front row ticket is? Like $60.
I'd rather take the GCW ticket than go to a stupid ass XPW show.
Oh, second row, by the way, second row is $75. I'd also like to make it clear that it makes it very, very clear. All ages.
Oh, wait, I forgot one thing. He can't even do deathmatch wrestling. I don't think he could in New York, right?
No,
I don't think so.
No. There's only a select few states in the U.S. that allow deathmatch wrestling, and New York, even though it is home to the Hammerstein Ballroom, they don't do that shit.
Yeah, so I forgot about that. Like, my buddy, he told me, like, dude, it's like, so the main appeal, it's not going to happen because it's against the law to have deathmatch shows. Yeah, he told me that.
I can't wait to watch Schlack wrestle.
I'm just gonna say that I find that we do this episode nearly off of the heels, like 8 hours removed after I finally decided to delete my OnlyFans account. So I just feel like this whole thing was a sign, a sign from the Lord himself.
What are we getting at here?
That to say that, perhaps it's not all worth it. You got our extreme pro wrestling, we got our pornography, but sometimes they don't mix very well, Adam. And I think that's the lesson that we're learning today. Gaping assholes and headlocks just aren't the same thing.
And here's the worst thing. This episode was nuts. This whole season was nuts, but it's all about to come to a head next week. Because next week's the big one.
Oh yeah, the steroid trial.
Yeah, next week's the steroid trial, and they have Jerry McDivitt, which is the most appealing thing about all of this, because I don't believe he's ever been on camera before.
He's done live shows.
But I don't think he's talked about this. Not in this capacity. This shit's about to be interesting. I'm very upset that the season is over, Zahaya.
Yeah. Now we gotta talk about your fucking shitty ass indie shows for like the third segment now. I'm pissed.
Yeah, or we'll have some more exclusives right here if this all does well, and we'll see what you think, and as the channel tries to expand.
Yeah! In fact, tell us what you think in the comment section below. Let us know if you want us to do more of these. We've been talking about actually doing these with, like, after pay-per-views go off the air, but we're not really sure how this works out. So please, let us know in the comment section what you guys think of this format. It'll help us out a lot. And while you're at it, give the show a like. The 4 Post Massacre podcast a like. The 4 Post Massacre podcast actually coming to Podbean very soon. I'm going to say that now because Adam has forgotten to promote that on both shows. So now you can hear it from me. The 4 Post Massacre podcast coming to Podbean. And that's about it. That's going to do it for our XPW review. XPW, very much a story of love, loss,
and more loss.
And more loss. and maybe a bit of a penetration along the way.
Oh, there's a lot of that.
So that's going to about do it for us. That's going to about do it for us here. Jay, since you were the original guest out of a lot to show up on this episode, I'm going to let you plug all your stuff. Please tell all these people where they can find you over the interwebs.
If you want to follow me on Twitter, please do. I need more people to laugh at my shit posts. Follow me at King Ramen Poppy at Twitter. I do shit posts. I talk about Japanese wrestling. I harass people on Twitter because I'm a horrible human being. But yeah, just follow me at King Ramen Poppy at Twitter.com.
Nice. All right, Adam. What positive message do you have towards not only the wrestling community but the porn community as well?
I
want to say something.
All right.
Oh.
To the wrestling community, don't be Rob Black. To the core community, support sex workers. That's number one, and don't support Rob Black.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wrestling people. Yeah, everything you heard today. Well, yeah, very fun, entertaining, and great shit. Don't. Just don't. Don't. Because you'll end up in jail or banished or wherever the fuck Rob Black is doing whatever the fuck Rob Black wants to do. Just don't. Or if you do, think again. As for the porn community, keep doing that porn.
That legal and not at all uncomfortable porn.
Yeah, we should very much specify that. Make sure what you're doing is, within the laws in which we are set here.
Oh, and most importantly, don't let something like this episode sway you on your opinions of deathmatch wrestling or a deathmatch company. This is the kind of a company that really gives the bad stereotype that all it is backyard bullshit, when it really isn't. And somebody like Zahaya, who I've really put on this past few months, I've proven that that's not the case anymore. Especially GCW. That's the one I go to the most. These deathmatch companies, while deathmatches are still part of it, they've evolved into something way more entertaining and way more akin to what ECW really was, and the real spiritual successors, and not all the ones that came into the 2000s that thought they were. So yeah, take that. Support.
And not only that, the community itself, because I really want to say this about the deathmatch community.
Better.
It's way better than it was back in the 2000s.
Yes,
the community now, we are so welcoming, we are so open, and we do not tolerate hate. We do not tolerate predators whatsoever.
Absolutely
The deathmatch community is one of the kindest, sweetest communities there is in wrestling. It really is today.
I've told Zahaya this plenty of times. The real independent wrestling families and communities are all about inclusivity. Am I saying that right? Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Good. I got my words right. Yeah. We're open to everyone and anyone, no matter who you are or what you think you are. Join us in this crazy ass entertaining time that is independent wrestling. And fuck Rob Black. And porn people, keep porning that porn.
Shout out to Lola Faye, Rocky Emerson, Alexis Tay, Kira Noir, Chris Stewart. You got Chris Scott. Sorry, you got the MVP. I follow you on Instagram. I love your work. Thank you, ladies. Goodbye.
Well,
shouts out to Lisa Aries.
Okay, so that'll about do it for all of us here for Pro Wrestling Massacre for this very special side episode. We'll see. Maybe we do more in the future. If we do well and you like it.
Yeah, please let us.
For me.
Yeah, please let us know. But until then, this has been me, Adam, and Jay Krack. And remember, face down, ass up. That's the way we like to watch our hentai. All right, later, everybody.